to our fifth and final main topic today. Chris, what is our fifth topic today?
This comes from Peruvian Legend. Heyoooo Campea crew. Love the show. Viewer since AMC Movie Talk days. So reports have come out regarding a deal struck between Marvel and the Stan Lee venture. This deal includes the rights to use the name and likeness of the legendary Stan Lee. I don't know, but I'd rather just have Lee's name just being referenced somehow in the movies and not have him digitized into the movies. What are your guys' thoughts?
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. And yeah, look, when Stan Lee passed away, not only did we lose a living legend and all that kind of stuff, we also lost, as a totally secondary thing, not nearly as important, but a special little thing about the tradition of going to a Marvel movie, which was everybody was always looking forward to, what's the Stan Lee cameo going to be? And getting those little cameos. And I remember it was after Stan Lee passed away, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out, and it has a wonderful Stan Lee cameo in Into the Spider-Verse. And I remember you could hear people sniffling in the theaters when his thing came on, and that was great. And a lot of people have been asking the question, well, who's going to be the next one? Like maybe, you have maybe Robert Downey Jr. will make a quick cameo in every single movie from now on. It's like, no. That was for Stan Lee. Well, they might be coming back now. This comes to us from the folks over at the Hollywood Reporter who write the following. In a unique deal, Stan Lee, the beloved co-creator of Spider-Man, Avengers, and Hulk, who died in 2018, is returning to Marvel Studios. Marvel has signed a 20-year deal with Stan Lee Universe, a venture between Genius Brands International and POW Entertainment, to license the name and likeness of Stan Lee for use in future feature films and television productions, as well as Disney theme parks, various experiences, and merchandising. The audience revered Stan, and if it's done with taste and class and respectful to who he was, it will be welcomed, says Hayward. He is a beloved personality, and long after you and I are gone, he will remain the essence of Marvel, said Andy Hayward, chairman and CEO of Genius Brands. It's a broad deal. All right. Bottom line, Disney now has the rights to the likeness, digitalization, old recordings, old images, audio, all that kind of stuff of Stan Lee that they are now free to use in feature films, movies, theme parks, and merchandising. Let's start with the small stuff and build up to the obvious one. Mm-hmm. Do I want to be able to go to Disneyland? Which I don't go to Disneyland anymore, but if I did, would I want to buy myself a Stan Lee plushie? Maybe. Would I want one of these Indiana Jones Funko Pops, but a brand new Stan Lee kind of thing, like a big fun?
Heckin' yeah.
Absolutely. So I love that part of the deal. And by the way, let me just mention here in the article itself, it does say it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to start doing CGI Stan Lee as doing cameos in the movies. Necessarily. But it totally opens the door that they can. So let's just jump to the big question here. How do we feel about the idea of a digitalized or CGI Stan Lee making future cameos in MCU movies? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm a little torn. I'm a little bit torn. Because on the one hand, Stan Lee isn't with us anymore. The specialness of the actual man himself appearing in these movies is what was so special about it. Not a drawn picture of the man, not old footage of the man on a TV, but Stan Lee himself went down to set and he was in this movie and we're actually seeing him there. And he's not with us anymore. And regardless of what you do with CGI, whatever, that's not Stan Lee. You did, you got a piece of software and you rendered a thing out that looks like Stan Lee, but it's not Stan Lee. And so part of me honestly feels a little icky about it. Mm-hmm. Okay, that said, there's the other half of my brain, which is, it is such a beloved thing that number one, he loved doing, and number two, the audience loved seeing. And we're not talking about Stan Lee starring in the next Avenger. We're talking about quick cameo appearances. Is there something to be said? Would Stan himself love the idea that he continues to appear in Marvel movies even after he's gone? I have a feeling there's something in Stan Lee would have kind of liked that idea, that he would continue to appear in these movies even when he wasn't here anymore. So, and would the audience still get a kick out of it? Yes. So I will tell you straight up, I don't definitively know how I feel about this. On the one hand, I find something icky about it. It's an artificial thing. We know that's not Stan Lee. On the other hand, would Stan have gotten a kick out of still appearing in them? And will we as the audience still get a big smile and grin when it does, even though it's just a digital honoring sort of thing? I think they would. So I'm a little bit torn. You know what? I'm probably going to put together a poll in the live chat to see how you guys feel about it. But Aaron, let me go to you first. First of all, it has to be restated. This story is not saying Disney is now going to start having Stan Lee cameos in Marvel films, but the door is now open, and that's obviously the topic at hand. Should they? What do you think? Hey guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Athletic Greens. Now, when you get really busy, and you guys know that Ann and I are really busy, one of the first things that you sacrifice is eating healthy. And you know, I simply have never eaten enough vegetables in my diet, I admit it. So for a long time, I've been looking for a really good all-in-one supplement that helps me get those nutrients and vitamins that my body needs. And thank goodness I found Athletic Greens AG1. So what is Athletic Greens AG1? Well, with one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, and probiotics to help you start your day right. And for me and Ann, it's easy. We get up in the morning, we pour a big glass of water and add one scoop of AG1. So many people today are taking some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with high quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb. And it's cheaper than getting all those different supplements yourself. And on top of giving you all those vitamins and nutrients, it also supports better sleep and quality of recovery, and supports mental clarity and alertness. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/mailbag. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/mailbag to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
I am going to go on record. I will, I don't know. I will eat this wrapper if we ever, I'm like trying to think of it. I do not see Stan Lee ever appearing in any Marvel projects as a talking, walking, moving figure. I don't see that happening. The way that I imagine this coming to fruition is that he will maybe be on a billboard in the background of something, yes. Or someone will open a newspaper or a magazine and there will be an image of him. I think that, yes, Stan Lee loved appearing in the projects, and there was something so special about knowing that it was actually him, even at his age, coming and putting on wardrobe or a costume. I mean, look at how much fun he had. He loved this world. And I think that for him to continue to live in this world that he created is really so special. I mean, he was such a beloved figure that I cannot imagine that this deal would have been struck unless it were very clearly outlined, the types, I mean, in the minutia of the contract, of like the ways that he could be portrayed. And for people that are, that are in the chat that are saying, oh, they should leave it to the family. Well, the family is part of this. Like,
yes, they're part of this deal.
Yeah, they're part of this deal. There's an estate. I guess it's Genesis, or what was the name of the company? I forget. It was in the blurb, but the company that manages his estate, they represent him as, they represent his estate and his likeness, etc. And that all goes through the family. So yes, the family is a part of this, but I can see, as you said, specifically merchandising. I love the fact that this man who created all of this and wanted to physically be a part of it will get to live on, as they said, long after all of us are gone. As long as the MCU lives, the MCU will be synonymous with Stan Lee, but I don't see them creating a fake character of him moving and walking and talking like they tried to do with that James Dean movie. I don't see that happening. So to me, I don't find anything cringeworthy about this because I just don't see it happening to that level. I see there being T-shirts being sold with his image still on it. I see, kids that are 13 growing up knowing who the person who created this world was, what he looked like, and having him continue to be honored as a fun little Easter egg that we continue to see. But I can't imagine the MCU ever doing it in a way that would dishonor him, but really would more so take the spirit of the way that he enjoyed being a part of these movies and infuse that in a way that was respectable and honorable for him and his family.
Let's bring up that quote again, because I like what you said there at the end, but this is what one of the guys, with the Stan Lee organization said. He's a beloved personality long after you and I are gone. Oh no, it was a little bit earlier. Where was it again? Where he basically said, if it's done in a respectful, where was it? The audience?
Yeah, the audience revered Stan, and if it's done with taste and class and respectful of who he was, it will be welcomed.
Yeah, so I guess that could mean on the television in the background, on billboards, or it could mean an actual,
And by the way, I think it's also, and you're the lawyer of the group, so you can maybe shed some light on this as well. But when we're talking about licensing deals, it's not ownership.
No,
it's not like
it's temporarily you have the right to use this.
Exactly. Right, but you can't just use it for any way you want. So when Hayward, the CEO of this organization, essentially who represents his estate, says if it's done in a respectful and tasteful way, it will be welcomed. Meaning that every time they go, hey, we want to use his likeness for this, it's not like they have carte blanche to do anything and everything they want. They still have to get an okay.
Depending on how they structure the license, but that very well could be written into the language of the license. Chris, you hear this. Number one, do you think this opens the door for a digital, CGI version of Stan Lee, maybe with a deep fake or whatever? And if they did, how would you feel about that?
Just from the get-go, deepfakes are not my favorite thing. I understand it for something like creating a young Luke, but when it's to create an actor who's passed, it does just feel wrong. There is an ick factor, like you talked about. And I do prefer the kind of poster idea, because we've seen that in other shows. In Daredevil, you've got Officer Stan in the background, like we were talking about, chat. You've got him back there, and that's a great cameo. I love seeing his likeness in there. I'd love to see a Funko of him in there, or him put into a movie poster or things like that, I think would work really well. Digitizing him just does feel a little odd. If that was truly his wish, I'm all for it. But the family had a lot of issues at the end there. There were so many legal things. Back when I was doing pop culture news on a different channel, mostly what we were talking about at the time was the drama between that family. It was awful. It was so horrifying. And especially if you ever got to meet Stan, we all feel like he's our uncle or a grandpa, right? He created all of the content that we love. And when you got to meet him, he just made you feel like you were the only person in the world. And so when you'd see these things about, what was happening to him, it's hard to trust that his family did have his best interest at heart. And it's really, really easy to speak for the dead, right? So I just really hope that if he is digitized, this is truly what he wants. He loved Cameos so much. So I hope it's just done in that respectful way that y'all were talking about, and that the man behind the estate is talking about as well.
Ray, I don't know. How would you feel about this if suddenly we went to go see Deadpool 3 and they back behind the strip club DJ booth, we see DJ Stan Lee again, just like he did in the first film, and it gives a quippy line as a cameo. I don't know. Would you be okay with that? Would you not?
No, I don't want any interactive digital Stan Lee. It's just not something I want to see. Like I'm with Aaron. Like if there's like a Deadpool movie and there's tons of pictures of Stan Lee, even when he was young. If he was like talking to someone while they were working on a Deadpool comic, put that picture somewhere in the background and have it like as a little Easter egg where people know it's Stan Lee, but then people don't know why they put that picture there. Oh, it's because he was going over that Deadpool comic with that writer or whatever, or something like that. Something where people actually will learn more about Stan Lee through research because of the picture. You know what I mean? Like, why did they choose this picture
But
and
is anybody
place it
really
here.
going to do that? Is any audience member really going to look at that?
But
Well, we'll talk about it on this show.
But I'm saying if they
We will-
don't, they don't. But
And we
it'll
will
just
talk
be-
about it on this show,
Yeah,
and we will
I mean,
help.
I would
the
educate
hardcore
person.
fans will, and I think a lot of times that's what those little cameos are for.
I mean, yeah, and then like maybe it'll bring some if let's say the person in that picture is still doing comics, it'll bring them like some attention
Yeah.
because a lot of comic book people don't get the attention they, it's just something where what Stan Lee did will make it better for those that are carrying on for him. I mean, it's all about passing the torch. I think.
Here's the thing. I am flabbergasted by this. I put up a poll in the live chat asking, are you okay if a digital Stan Lee makes a cameo in a future MCU film? I was expecting it to be like 95% no, 5% yes. It's 41% said yes.
Wow.
59% have said no. So still a majority are saying no right now. And again, I am totally torn on it myself. I don't know how I feel about it. Again, there's an ickiness factor to it, but at the same time, if it's something he would have got a kick out of doing, I mean, I don't know.
Can I ask you this? Let me ask, if we take out deep fake, if
Right.
we go, okay, there is no deep fake of Stan Lee ever that's not on the table, that is not in the contract. It will only be a stationary image as an Easter egg or like
Right.
something like that. Are you okay with that as long as there's no deep fake?
Oh, I don't see any problem at all in the world of like using images in the background. Like that's perfectly fine with or without the deal with this estate, as a matter of fact. I don't think anybody would have a problem with that.
So it's
Where
the
it becomes-
deep. It's the deep fake
thing, yeah, or the pure CGI, whichever one you do. When you're
Right,
creating
but we
a new
didn't see
version
any,
of it.
and that's the thing. That's why I'm not as concerned about it, because we didn't hear any mention of a deep fake or a CGI.
No, but when they say
Yeah.
that is covered, when they say they have the license to use his likeness.
Sure.
So it could cover that. So it's going to be interesting. Question is for you guys. I actually find this fascinating. You know what? I honestly don't know how I'm going to feel about this until they do it, and then I'm in the movie theater and I see it happen. That's not until then will I actually know how I feel about it, I
Yeah.
think. So I don't know. Question is for you guys. How do you feel about this? Is this something that rubs you the wrong way? Or are you thinking, there's nothing wrong with it? I don't know. How are you feeling about it right now? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.